How does love go from heart to hate or crime of passion? So here's a story out of Buffalo. A 53-year-old man named Lance Woods was a police officer. He robbed his wife of life. His wife's name was Alexis Skozilis. He caused her severe suffering before the end. I mean, this was someone he would supposedly have loved, married to, had children together. She wanted to leave. She wanted out. Well, he didn't want that. Let's look at the story and see what went wrong.
Police officer accused of killing his estranged wife has pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder. Prosecutors say 53-year-old Lance Woods shot and killed his wife, Alexis Skozilis, on Valentine's Day. Skozilis' body was found inside their Lewiston home on Buffalo Street just after midnight, February 15th. She was shot in the head. Her mother had called police a number of times, worried about her safety. Woods, who was off duty, was arrested a few hours later at a relative's house.
The 14th, 2026, the defendant's wife, Alexis Skozilis, in the head.
The defendant, a Buffalo police officer, 53-year-old Lance Woods, now indicted on a second-degree charge for allegedly killing his wife, the mother of his two children, on Valentine's Day in their home in Sanborn. On Wednesday, a prosecutor with the New York Attorney General's office revealing new details as he argued to make sure Woods stayed behind bars until he faces trial.
After an argument that they had, in which she told him she was leaving him for another man and that she was doing so in the next few days. The investigation has revealed that the defendant did not contact the authorities to request any medical assistance for her safety, and that she may have lived for a period of time despite the problem.
Senior investigative counsel James Mara offering evidence that Woods tried to cover up the crime, allegedly bringing her body down to the basement, cleaning the crime scene, and searching online for places to dispose of her,
including in 55-gallon drums or in landfills.
Woods also accused of seeking new places to live and work in Florida and Georgia.
He made substantial efforts not only to cover up the crime, but also to make attempts and to set up endeavors to leave New York State to avoid prosecution.
Woods' attorney, Barry Covert, asked the judge to consider releasing him with an ankle monitor.
He has two children that are in the area, his family, including the family that has shown up in the courtroom. He has been a very great citizen of the area, including being an 18-year police officer who's received medals.
Given the nature of the crime that he's facing, the time he's facing, the court will remand him pending trial.
Woods was remanded. He also remains suspended without pay from the Buffalo Police Department. His next court date is on May 8th.
Someone you know is dealing with domestic violence. Here's a list of local and national resources you can call for help. We've also got this information for you on WKBW.com.
You know, this story was really sad. It's really, really sad, but it's reality. Okay. And it's like, we have to start looking at how do we get out of a relationship safely. Number one, never tell that other person you're leaving. Make sure that if you're leaving, you slowly get your things out of that home. Because if you are in the process of removing things and that other person sees you, you know, sometimes they have that feeling too that you're going to leave. You know, you show those signs. In your relationship with someone for so long, you can almost read their mind. So you know what they're thinking. So that person may come home from work. Or maybe they have been doing that all along. Maybe several times they have been passing the house on their lunch break or, you know, just to see if you're still there or, you know, stalking you, basically. So there are ways to get out safely. One, like I said, is removing your things little at a time, not noticeable things. If you have to, bring in more things so it doesn't look like the other things have been removed from your home, like things from the secondhand store. Also, sometimes you may have to leave stuff behind and go into a shelter for domestic, you know, and this is for men and women. Both go through these things. Tell somebody. Don't just leave it to yourself. If you are suffering from abuse, let someone know so people can start checking on you. Never go to a place where that other person will know where you are. Never contact them afterwards. Under no circumstances, change your phone number. That is a must. Matter of fact, change your phones, because phones can be tracked. Okay? Make sure your car doesn't have a tracking on it. You know, there's things that you can detect that. But whatever you do, get out safely, because it can end in this kind of situation. When life is lifing, keep on living. I'm out. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. Don't keep putting yourself in situations where you are in relationships that you feel the need to stay in till it gets to this point. Now, in this relationship, I'm not sure if he was wrong or she was wrong. Well, of course, he was wrong for taking her life. But was she wrong for going to him saying that she was leaving him for another man? That is not the way you get out of a relationship. That is, well, unless you want to end up in a situation such as this. The way to get out of a relationship is, first of all, not get in a relationship that is going to not be fulfilling. Now, in a relationship like this, maybe he wasn't a police officer when they met. Police is a a career where there's no room for emotional contact with your spouse. You lose intimacy, you lose what you need in relationship to keep a relationship going. They tell you this at the very beginning of training when you're into corrections or any law enforcement jobs. You know, police officer, corrections officer, in this industry. Because your mind goes to a different thing. You are constantly investigating, interrogating, that you forget about how to pay attention and love, romance, commitment to your spouse. You lose that. So she might have gotten a little bit lonely and somebody else caught her interest. If you're going to get out of a relationship safely, then you need to not, first of all, tell your spouse that you're leaving them. This is for men and women. Another thing is to not put yourself in a situation where that person sees you taking things out of the house, packing your bags or any other things. Take things out of the house slowly so they don't even realize. If you have to bring other stuff in the house where it looks like you are cluttered, so you're removing things that need to be removed, or the things you remove are not noticed. And if you leave, make sure that you change your number and get a new phone. Because phones, you could track phones. If you have a vehicle, make sure that person has not put a track on your vehicle. You can get that checked by either the police department or even a mechanic. Somewhere along the way, you can find out if your car has been tracked, because what you don't want him to do is find you. Don't go somewhere where you know he knows those people, because he is most likely going to come, him or her is most likely going to come to that same location where you're at, because they know where you're going to go. If you have to, go into a domestic shelter where they, know how to protect you and find you a safe place. There's so many resources that can help you now. And if you need counseling, get it. But also, if you leave, under no circumstance, go back. Because once you go back and you try to leave again, that is not going to work for you. It is a challenging thing, but I'm going to continue talking about it, because people respond more to seeing what's going to happen than understanding me talking about how to prevent it from the beginning. So I'm going to do more of these contents where domestic violence is involved, where bad relationships are revealed, and where you may see good relationships in the beginning that go bad. I'm out.